AI agents are everywhere, automating tasks and making decisions at machine speed. But agents make mistakes. Just one rogue agent can do big damage before you even notice. Rubrik Agent Cloud is the only platform that helps you monitor agents, set guardrails, and rewind mistakes, so you can unleash agents, not risk. Accelerate your AI transformation at Rubrik.com. That's RUBRIK.com.
Trojan family, what's going on? Welcome to the USC LAFB show here on the LAFB network. Final injury report. It's Friday. The Trojans are in the air. Probably actually by the time this is published and you're watching it, they've probably landed in Nebraska by now and getting ready for preparation before tomorrow evening's kickoff. They will release the official Big Ten media report 2 hours before kickoff tomorrow, so I will have that published on LAFBnetwork.com, so make sure to check that out. It'll be in our message board that you can find in the link below, or I'll have an article up as well. So that will be roughly 2:30 p.m. Pacific time. I'll get that up for you guys to see the official outs, questionables. I didn't really do probables, so questionable or outs is basically all you'll probably see. But today, just, based on what we saw at practice and kind of reading between the lines of talking to Lincoln Riley twice this week, this is kind of my summation. So these are not exacts. We don't know, but Floyd Boucard, so we'll go just through a couple of the big name players. I don't believe will play. I don't think I even saw him in pads most of practice. So remember when he got injured against Michigan, Coach Riley said we'll address or we'll reevaluate after the bye week, which would be this past week. And I think he's still a little ways away. So do expect him to return this season for sure. But just, slowly getting, especially as a true freshman, no need to rush. I know he's been integral to this team and this defensive line and has been a pleasant surprise. But never going to rush a guy back, especially a true freshman that has his whole career ahead of him. Not that you would rush an older guy back, but you guys get what I'm getting at there. So don't expect him to go. Doesn't mean, again, I don't have full confirmation, so it could surprise me, but based on the trends we've seen with injuries with this team, this feels very unlikely. So I would be shocked if he is a go in Lincoln. So Floyd Boucard most likely out. Elijah Page, obviously the other big name. And I don't know. I feel for some reason, and maybe I'm reading too much into it, but I feel like he is still not ready. He's been fully padded now in practice. He was fully padded for the Notre Dame game and was available if needed. Coach Riley was asked yesterday by Eric McKinney at On 3 just kind of about Elijah Page, how he felt he was playing before getting injured and what he means to the offensive line. And obviously Riley had, glowing reviews just saying how he's developed and an anchor obviously on the left side, but kind of ended it with, and again, this maybe I'm reading between the lines, but I'm paraphrasing, but essentially we are hopeful he will be back at some point playing meaningful snaps. So I don't know if I take that as he's just really not ready yet, like still that injury is lingering, or if they actually just feel better with their 5 guys they have right now, and they feel like maybe he would kind of, I don't want to say mess up, but change the continuity that has been built while he's been out. That's speculation, right? I'm just literally taking that from what Coach Riley, you can watch his interview from yesterday that we were on the call with. But it did seem like, the fact that he was back fully dressed in the Notre Dame game, and now that's 2 weeks away, and we still don't know for sure if he will play. Now, this could all be moot, and he suits up on Saturday and plays, and, forget I said anything, but it kind of reminds me a little bit of, if any of you guys are Rams fans, Steve Avila, left guard, kind of a similar, in a way, odd situation where, he gets injured and bangs his ankle up week 1, comes back a few weeks later, plays again, and then gets banged up again, and then they kind of hold him out, and then after that, he dressed, played some played some special team snaps, but not with the starting unit again. You actually had, the backup then filling in for him. So, but he was full participant in practice, wasn't even on the injury report. So it was just kind of a weird thing. Now he has since played in the London game, and all indications are he's the starting left guard moving forward. So I think it's more of, if we're using that as a parallel, it's more of, when you do get injured, just because you're now healthy doesn't mean you're playing at the same level you were before you got injured. That's not Elijah Page. That's just an athlete thing. Like, you have to overcome a lot when you're coming back from injury, especially with a big body like an offensive lineman has and suffering a leg injury. Like, you got to get your strength back. I mean, Micah Benuelos is a great testament of what he's had to overcome with those injuries and getting his strength back, and now being able to play D1 ball and fill in at that left guard. I think he's played really well this season. But just because you're healthy doesn't mean you're still at the same level. So I say all this, like, I don't want anyone to freak out if he is healthy and not playing. Sometimes it just takes these guys times to get back up to that speed that they were before the injury took place. So again, I'm fully reading in between the lines, but based on that, I just feel like he is not quite ready yet for this game. And I think we'll see the same rotation of Tobias Raymond, Micah Benuelos. I think Killian O'Connor is actually ahead of schedule. He's the other guy kind of on the injury list, obviously, after getting injured at Illinois. But I think John Ray Reed has done good enough in his stead, actually has improved each week, that they'll work Killian back more slowly, in my opinion. So again, don't know for sure. We'll see before the game. But I think John Ray Reed, and then obviously Alani Noah, and it was Justin Tano over at left tackle, Tobias Raymond over at right tackle. So I think we'll see the same starting five we've seen, since that Michigan game, and since the Michigan game. So that's my thought. We'll see pregame if any of that changes, but I think they're just really taking their time getting these guys back up to speed fully, and hopefully we'll see Elijah Page at that starting left tackle again. But luckily, with the talent that they have and the depth they've had, that they've really played well, and I think I don't want to say have an easier time, but they're going up against a Nebraska front that is not as dominant as like what Notre Dame had. So we'll see what that looks like in the run game and what Jaden Mayava looks like with his protections. But certainly looking good there. Running back, no new. Obviously, we know Wayman Jordan, Eli Sanders out. Speaking of Wayman Jordan, there's a lot out there that he may actually be done for the season. I know the initial timeline was 4 to 6 weeks. I've seen him at practice, he's in a brace on the scooter or whatever. That's a very, I think, generous timeline. Again, this is just me speculating, but it wouldn't shock me at all if he's done for the year. And so I've seen questions out there like, does he return next year? And I think if that's the case, 1,000%, he'll be back. Obviously just a junior coming from the JUCO ranks. Had he been able to play this entire season, he would have been probably one of the highest graded running backs to go into the draft. But because of the injury, I think he will be back next year. Obviously, Eli Sanders, a redshirt senior, so unfortunately, unless there's some medical waiver he can get, he will probably be gone. But then you look at, next year, if Waymo comes back, then you have obviously Harry Dalton and Riley Wormley, B-Jack still here, and then this really elite freshman class coming in with Deshaun Rideau and Sean Alston, who are both just absolutely, amazing senior years for both of them. So a very deep running back room. And as long as everyone's content and happy, you don't have to go to the portal if that's the case. So I would expect Waymo to be back. Even if he does make it back this season, I think with that much time lost, I think he'll want to give it another go to raise his draft stock, would be my guess. We'll address that more later, but that would be my thoughts. But other than that, B-Jack's fully healthy. Obviously King Miller, and then Harry Dalton and Riley Wormley, who I mentioned, the two true freshmen. We should start seeing more run. I think Harry Dalton we're going to start seeing more involved in the offensive scheme as the season continues. He's just got a very bright future. Wormley does too. We just haven't seen him because he's got injured as senior in high school, so he's been rehabbing basically the whole time. Whereas Dalton we were able to see in spring and or able to see in fall, and a little bit some reps in game. So receiving core outside of Zacharias Williams, who again most likely out for the rest of the year. We haven't really got an update, but just it seems like it's trending that way. And I think he would be able to use a red shirt, if I'm not mistaken, because I think he got injured in week 2, so or week 3, and it's all blurring together. But he might be done. But outside of him, Prince Strawn, I talked about it, 2 weeks ago, how it was reported actually, or not, Lincoln Riley told me that it was actually a high ankle sprain he had. So while he is healthier, again, just not the same player he was before the injury. So trying to get himself back to being that truly game kind of changing receiver that he can be with that size on the outside. So he is, I think, trending much better. Jacoby Lane's shoulder, I think, is looking a lot better. So should be theoretically outside of Williams, kind of at full strength at the receiver position. And then defensively, like I said, outside of Floyd Bacard, we'll see about Jah Jarrett. I know he's been limited. So he's one that we'll see kind of game time. I don't have a true update or barometer on him. I think that is, you want to have that big body just available, even if it's only 10 to 12 reps or snaps a game. I think that's meaningful. So we'll see. But, Keyshawn Silver, Devin Tompkins, Crawford, Lucas, Shelby, all three linebackers we've seen, the secondary, all of that it seems to be fully healthy there. And we'll see how much Jakeem Stewart does play, but seems to be healthy as well. And then as far as freshmen in the secondary, Alex Graham getting healthier, getting more up to speed. I think we'll see his reps continue to climb. They're not going to throw him in as just like, hey, you're getting 35 snaps this game as a starter. It'll be a slow climb. Obviously, if USC can get to a nice early lead and, have a comfortable spot, then obviously they're going to give him a lot more reps. And then D. Riddick is the other one that Dan Lynn has, and Lincoln Riley have both had glowing reviews about his development and how much he's continued to come along and continue to gain the trust of the coaching staff, which Coach Lynn has said, that's how you earn reps. Earn our trust in practice, you're going to earn reps in the game. So I think Riddick is another guy we'll see that will also get more reps as the season continues to progress. So there you have it. That's kind of the injury update as of now, Friday, 12:30 p.m. Pacific time. Like I said, 2:30 tomorrow Pacific time. We'll see the Big Ten report. I'll have it up on LAFBnetwork.com as an article, also in our message board. So go to the USC message board there to find that. Hope everyone enjoys your rest of your day, your Friday. Go Dodgers tonight. Must win, obviously. Got the Shohei shirt on, hopefully bringing some luck. You can pick one of these up at LAFBnetwork.com if you want. Our custom designed Shohei shirt. Got some USC merch there as well you should check out. I am going to have a couple other videos dropping later today. Some more recruiting news that I will give an update for, and a rumor. I don't usually like to give a lot of life to kind of wild rumors, but just want to address what I have, if anything, have heard. So stay tuned for that. That will be dropping later today as well. If you haven't already, please hit that like and subscribe. Helps out a ton here at USC LAFB, and check out, like I always say, LAFBnetwork.com for all of our USC and all of our LA sports team coverage. You guys are the best. Appreciate it. I'm Ryan Dyer, as always. Trojan family, thank you so much for hanging out and watching the USC LAFB show. Before you go, let me tell you quickly about our friends over at Sleeper. Go right now, download the Sleeper app. It's the #1 sports app, not just for season-long fantasy, but they've got live pickers, they've got live stat updates, they've got a chat that you can chat with other users, plus the daily pick'em, which is a blast, or daily fantasy, whatever you want to call it. You go and pick 2 to 8 players across any sports. If you're talking USC, go choose Jade Maiyava in his next matchup. Pick more or less passing yards, more or less touchdowns. You stack those, and you can win real money. When you go to make your first deposit, make sure you use our promo code USCLAFB. You're going to get a match deposit up to $100. Put in $100, you get $100 free to play with from Sleeper. Put in $10, they'll match you that $10. So now you're sitting at $20 to play with. But also right now, for any new users, no deposit required. You get $20 free entry. You can stack both. You can get the $20 for free. Go make a deposit. Use USC LAFB. And now you've got a bunch of free money to play with right there on the Sleeper app. Check it out, Trojan family. And when you do, tell them the guys at the USC LAFB